Awesome. All right. Welcome to JupiterOne's Fireside Chat. We have some really amazing news to announce today. We have two special guests. We have Hossain from Cisco, and we have Erkang Zheng from JupiterOne. I'll let them introduce themselves in a second. We have some wonderful news to announce today, so we've brought these two gentlemen on this fireside chat to speak to you guys. So, very quickly, Moon, let's take a couple seconds and tell the audience who you are.
Thanks for having me. I'm Moon Hossain. I'm a senior director at Cisco SPG Security Business Group. Pleasure to be with you today.
Excellent. And Erkang?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Erkang. I'm the founder and CEO of JupiterOne. Very excited to join Moon here for the special announcement.
Yeah. So speaking of that, we obviously threw this together for a reason. We're not just putting these two guys on for the pretty faces, although we have that. We are actually here to announce something great. So, what's the announcement, Moon?
So, we're really excited to have partnered with JupiterOne to introduce a new offering, and it's Cisco Secure Cloud Insights. So this offering brings fresh and very powerful capabilities to Cisco's SecureX portfolio. So it extends beyond, traditional cloud security posture management use cases, and it's provided to provide our customers with the ability for them to more effectively manage their entire cyber asset attack surface.
Yeah, and to add on to that, right? So that's JupiterOne's core offering, now part of the Cisco portfolio under SecureX. And like Moon said, right, it's not just CSPM. A lot of the foundational security, cloud security capability started with CSPM, but we all know that cloud is just a small part of the entire digital operations, and we have to look at the entire attack surface, and we have to look at all of these cyber assets, and that's what we're so excited to share with everyone today.
That's fantastic. This partnership is going to be something to be very excited about. And as CMO at JupiterOne, I personally am obviously very excited about it as well. So, very quickly, Moon, can you give us a little bit of the information around the challenges that Cisco or Erkang, when you comment JupiterOne, saw in the customer base? What was the real need and gap that the prospects or the market was having?
Yeah, absolutely. So, before we get into the gaps, if you look at the continued adoption of the whole cloud first and digital transformation strategies that our customers are going through, it's really fundamentally changed the way their businesses operate. So organizations are migrating to new tools, new systems, new processes, and this is sort of propelling their business forward. But they simply have to survive in a rapidly changing world as these transitions are happening. So all of these capabilities have allowed them to sort of be more agile in this market space. It's increased their time to market. It's increased productivity, and it's also reduced costs for them. Now that comes at a cost. So what we're also seeing is that it's created a number of new problems from a cybersecurity standpoint. So, when you look at IT assets, when they move beyond on-premise devices to the cloud, there's an aspect of the ephemeral nature of these assets, and it's led to sprawl, it's led to, proliferation and increased scale and increased complexity. And there's really no centralized view for this expanding universe of cloud assets. And there's a lot of silos. So when we speak to CIOs, for example, they talk about 50, and these are large corporations, they talk about 50 to 80 different types of tools that they have to perform monitoring. So you can see it's super siloed. They're only looking at bits and pieces, and they really don't have that view of that broader picture. And that's what we're providing with insights to solve that problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Erkang, do you have anything to add on top of the challenges that
Sure.
JupiterOne saw in their customer base, and why this makes sense for the joint base?
Absolutely, right. So 100% agree with everything what Moon just said. I think, from my perspective, a lot of what we're trying to do sounds like it's so foundational and so basic, right? But also, like Moon mentioned, there's so much complexity now that in our digital operations. And I think because of this digital transformation, it moved the business forward a lot faster in a much faster, unprecedented pace. But at the same time, it also presented unprecedented challenge for us to manage it from a visibility standpoint, from a security standpoint. And it makes what we think as sort of the basics so difficult, so almost impossible to accomplish, right? And that basic is understanding ourselves. That basic is to maintain the hygienes and just the simple questions of knowing what we have and who owns them, how they are connected, how they're related to each other, becomes so much more complex to answer, right? And I think that's what we are here to help solve. And the other thing also, when you mentioned, right, is there are so many different silos, not just within security, right? So within security, there are different operations. There's vulnerability management, there's cloud security, there's AppSec, and incident response, and all of those things. But beyond that, right? So there's also the difference between security and then compliance, and then there's IT and there's engineering. We all have to work hand in hand together and understanding all of these data, the infrastructure, the environment. And there isn't really a platform that can help them and bridge these gaps and have one source of truth or one system of record, so they can all look at the same things and answer the same questions. I think this is what we're trying to provide here.
So let me press on that just a little bit with you, Erkang. SecOps culture. Can you give me an idea on how you define security operations culture today and why that's important to this announcement?
Absolutely. So if you think about SecOps, right? So and undoubtedly people think of DevSecOps and then DevOps. And I think if you look at and think about how the DevOps transformation happened and the changes in culture there, it really is very much an engineering and automation driven shift. And it is not a matter of having different people in different teams doing things, but these roles still exist and this function still exists, but it might be the same set of people or individuals, or maybe different individuals fulfilling those functions like dev and QA and deployment and so on and so forth. But really it's supported by automation and data and engineering. And the same thing is happening with SecOps, right? With security. All these different functions has to be tied together using automation and using engineering. And that is a transition that the security team have to embrace.
Yeah, so there's significant shifts in SecOps that are happening right now based on cloud, based on API, based on how we build our systems today. And it sounds like the Cisco plus JupiterOne announcement is really going to help new customers or Cisco specific customers to actually find the security that can be built around that and the security engineering that can be built around that solution. Moon, what has changed in the past 5 years about cloud security that Cisco, has had to adjust to, work with, and create products around?
Yeah, I think Erkan hit it on the head in terms of talking about the silos, the complexity. If there was anything that I was going to add, it's a very hard job. Everyone's understaffed. There are many disjointed tools, like we talked about previously, and the footprint of what they used to protect previously has changed dramatically as all of these assets are moving to the cloud. There are multi-cloud environments. There's how do I deal with the cloud environments relative to what I have on-prem. So the complexity has increased quite a bit. So I would talk about the complexity more than anything else in terms of the changes that our IT staffs are actually dealing with.
I see. Erkang, and do you have any, past 5 years, cloud security, how has it changed? I mean, you've been a practitioner prior to founding JupiterOne. Talk about the shifts between when you were a practitioner and now.
Yeah, well, thank you for mentioning that, right? So, and before building JupiterOne, and the reason for building JupiterOne is really is to solve a lot of my own firsthand challenges, right? Being a former CISO and cloud security lead at different places, right? And I think that it is not just not only the silos, right? So the way I think about it is really what defines cloud security. And before when we think about cloud security, is okay, virtual machines and virtual workloads in public cloud, maybe in some private cloud or hybrid, right? So all of those definitions evolves. But then there's a tremendous amount of SaaS software offerings that has come up, right? So over the years, things like GitHub and things like Okta and all of these core functional controls or core engineering controls and these platforms and so on are becoming cloud native and software as a service. So when we think about cloud security, we have to think about all of those. And not only those by itself, but how do these connect together? How do these work together? And then I want to tie back to the people aspect as well, right? And we want to empower the teams, right? So part of security's jobs is not just control and block and so on, but it's to enable and empower. So with all those combined, we have to think about, well, all of these tools that different functions are using and all of these different controls that security is trying to deploy, and how do we tie those together, and how do we empower the people to do the right things, right? So those are the challenges, and those are what changed. And security function has changed from more of an enforcing to more of an enabling and empowering function.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It ceases to be the division of no, right? And that's what we've always been asking for my last 20 plus years in cybersecurity. We've always wanted to be, hey, we're not the department of no, right? So definitely breaking down those silos and bringing that forward. So Moon, you had a lot of options. Cisco had a lot of options of partners to work with here, of companies that they could use to bring secure cloud insights to market. Why choose JupiterOne as your partner?
So we've talked a lot about some of the problems that our customers are dealing with today. And when we talk about how we solve those problems, some of the biggest challenges with, securing modern applications, whether they're hosted in the public cloud, in a private cloud, or even in a private data center, we considered a number of different options in this area. So we came across JupiterOne. When we did so, we very quickly realized sort of the synergies between what our customers were facing and what JupiterOne's product delivered. Cisco itself has been using JupiterOne for a number of years, and we're very familiar with a lot of the use cases that JupiterOne has dealt with in the past and how they've solved some of the big rock issues and things like that. And when we took a first-hand look at how their technology scaled, the type of visibility that it provided for the internal teams, we knew this was the right product. We knew that this could really help our customers based on what we were hearing. And organizationally, we've also been very impressed by the JupiterOne team, Erkang and his entire leadership team, looking at their mission, looking at their vision. Everyone in the organization has sort of proven to be a great partner, first of all, and they exude a lot of passion in terms of what their customers are going through and how they can actually solve some of the problems for their customers and the industry at large. So super impressed with what we've seen so far, and we believe that this will be an excellent partnership moving forward.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And since I'm on that leadership team, I'm taking full credit for everything that we've done here at JupiterOne, just FYI. But no, in all honesty, we appreciate that. We're really excited to work with Cisco as well. So Erkang, we could have partnered with a bunch of people too, right? There's other companies out there. Why choose Cisco? Can you give the counter tack to that?
Absolutely. First of all, right. So thank you for all of those kind words, Moon. And we are super excited because not only Cisco is one of our largest customers, right? We've been working together for a while now, and Cisco became a strategic investor and partner in JupiterOne as well. And now we're extending this partnership even further, right? So this is a huge win-win for both organizations. And while working together with Cisco, in those different capacities, and we felt stronger and stronger about this partnership over time. And because how well that we work together, right? So both as partners, and Cisco has a great culture and passion for customers as well, right? And we're all here to support and get greater knowledge and visibility to organizations, whether it's the largest enterprises or the medium small size businesses that we can both support and service. And that fits really strong within our joint mission, right? Is to provide this capability to our customers and provide the visibility and the knowledge and transparency for organizations large and small. So super excited.
Yeah, we absolutely. But just to be clear, because we didn't get into this at the beginning of the conversation, we probably should have, but we didn't. Is Cisco just reselling JupiterOne? Like, can you provide a little bit more color here, Moon?
Yeah, it's not only reselling JupiterOne. It's much more than that. It's a very deeply integrated partnership. So this is a brand new instance of the JupiterOne technology that is being built out in the Cisco cloud. So what that means to the customer is that it's subject to all of Cisco's security and governance in terms of how we look at cloud applications. So it's much bigger than just a reselling arrangement. So our agreement, it should give customers, the confidence in the longevity of this offering, and also Cisco's commitment to supporting it. Since it's a Cisco solution that's been rebranded. It's been rebranded as Cisco Secure Cloud Insights with JupiterOne. And it's also tightly integrated into our XDR strategy, Cisco's Secure X platform, and also the Cisco Secure Cloud Analytics offering. I know that's a lot of different products, but it's just showing how tightly it's integrated into the overall offering as just being sort of this one-off that we're reselling on that side. Hopefully that clarifies things.
It does, absolutely. And actually, I'm going to jump past Erkang's comment on here and go right back to you, Moon. Can you provide a little bit more color on how this fits in the larger Cisco portfolio? You mentioned it's part of XDR, it's part of SecureX. I'm sure the audience that's watching this is saying, well, how is 1 + 1 3 in this instance? Can you provide a little bit more color on that for me?
Absolutely. So you hit it on the head when you said 1 + 1 = 3, because when you look at Cisco Cloud Insights, it's actually going to be part of Cisco Secure X, and it's going to be a Cisco Secure X enabled offering. And it's a perfect complement to our existing product, our Cisco Cloud Analytics offering as well. So when you look at insights, that can be used to reduce an organization's attack surface that we talked about earlier. Look at making sure that we can sort of ensure best practices and make sure that regulatory guidance is being followed. We can also do things like expedite investigations, improve the whole incident response aspect of the deployment. But, as hard as teams try to sort of stop that and reduce the attack surface, cloud native applications, they're in a constant state of flux. It's constantly changing. And you can be rest assured that attackers will continue to sort of innovate and find new ways to actually get into the perimeter. So Cisco Cloud Analytics, which is another component of our portfolio, will provide some of that advanced threat detection and some of the response capabilities so that security teams can not only identify, but also mitigate suspicious activity and malicious activity in their environment actually before that damage is done. So it's working in tandem with a number of different solutions in a very complementary manner to provide some of these capabilities.
I see, Erkang, and that matches with similar use cases we get direct on JupiterOne, right? Makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would just highlight the context, right? The context that we provide from the data that both SecureX and the XDR offerings in JupiterOne as a knowledge-based offering provides, right? So that context is a sort of twofold, right? So one side that provides situational awareness of what happens at the time of a particular incident, and the other side, JupiterOne provides that structural and environmental knowledge and that awareness, right? So it's kind of like, hey, if the house is on fire, I have indicators that's telling me that the confirmation of the house is on fire. Maybe it's smoke coming out, and maybe the alarm is firing. But then the firefighters also need to know the blueprint of the house, right? Whether the house is built up to code, and all of those information. Where's the crown jewels, right? So in the house itself, what's the blast radius, right? So that combined context is what gives the security team the confidence to operate in the most efficient manner.
I see. Yeah, that makes total sense. The ability to essentially be the knowledge base for your entire cybersecurity operations. Okay, so let's see. We're wrapping up questions here. How quickly can a Cisco customer, realize results with the new offering? And then what has been, like, you guys have been at this for a while. This didn't just happen overnight. We didn't work on it for a day or a week. This has been in process for a while. What's been the beta response thus far?
The beta response has been phenomenal. So typically when we take out any product out there, we go through extensive beta testing. So in this case, we actually watch customers request an account, integrate a bunch of their tools, like 3 to 5 of their existing tools, into the platform, and it took them under 30 minutes to do all of that. Now, the solution was immediately populating a lot of telemetry, and basically customers were able to start leveraging the relationship graphs, the queries, and what that provided was an illumination of their entire environment. And feedback from them was that they saw things that they could never see before, and that was huge. So the feedback was, overwhelmingly positive. And especially when we checked with them the following week after they've actually had some time to actually play around with the new offering, the main feedback that we got was, we're seeing things that we could never see before, and that was super eye-opening for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And Erkang, I'm going to give you the final word here. Talk to me a little bit about any specific market challenges that we've missed. Obviously, this partnership is a great fit. The ability to purchase Secure Cloud Insights with JupiterOne available, I believe, immediately. It should be available within the next day or two. This is a big deal. The market should be looking at this. I'm excited about it. Do you have any final words that you want to bring into play here?
Yeah, well, what I want to say is tying back to what we said at the beginning, right? So it's getting so challenging and near impossible to do the basics well at scale, and to know what we don't know, and to know ourselves in this battle of cybersecurity and protecting ourselves and enabling the business, right? So that comes in multiple forms and multiple domains of operations. And for each domain, whether it is vulnerability management, whether it's incident response, or application security, or cloud security, or compliance, and DevOps, and so on and so forth, it relies on having the right visibility to data. And that basic that has been so challenging to do is now becoming easier and easier with this combined offering that we have. And we want everybody to know more and fear less, and that's what our missions are.
I love it. Way to bring that tagline in there at the end, Erkang. Really appreciate it. Hey, let me wrap up by saying thank you both for your time. I know you're both traveling. You're in hotels. It's hard to get you guys onto a schedule, but we really sincerely appreciate you guys coming on and helping us with this announcement. And yeah, for anybody that's interested, we will have blog posts both on Cisco's blog and our blog to support this. There'll be links on where you can get to the Cisco free trial of Secure Cloud Insights, as well as coming direct to JupiterOne if you'd like to get it from there. Again, we're really excited about this partnership. Thank you both for joining us today.